then can we not also make the argument that social media overall, whenever you get on the internet and have to feed into a very specific aesthetic in order to feel good about yourself, that at general is making you lonely? I wanted to talk about Erica Banks. Erica Banks is a rapper from Texas. She is signed to Meg the Stallion's former label 1501. And 2 years ago, she had a song that went viral on TikTok called Bust It. It samples Nelly's Hot in Here. And there was a Bust It challenge, like Bust It. Bust It. And the people at the red light and drop down to low. Visually imagine it in your mind. Is a song worth pulling up? No. The comments she made about aesthetics.
If she don't look how I want her to look physically, I don't want her to come, because the look of everything is so important to me. Like, if she ain't thick enough, nope. Her not did good enough, nope. Can't dress, nope. Skinny, nope. And it's like, I don't feel like I'm discriminating. I just want a certain type of look. She could be the sweetest girl I ever met in my life, but if she don't look the part, I don't want her to come. Like, that's just not the vibe I'm on. Now, she can come to the cookout. She can come to the listening party. But the club, I feel like bitches gotta look a certain way to come.
Do you notice the green star in the corner? That's a close friends post. Now, a lot of people have bad politics. Honestly, one of the things that I say when people, especially people that are in the public eye, when y'all have bad politics, but you're only meant to be an entertainer, not a political commentator, not an intellectual, to keep it in the group chat. So technically, Erica kept this in the group chat. Technically, this was close friends only. But the industry is shady and needs to be taken over. And clearly, somebody who Erica Banks had put on her close friends list on Instagram thought that it was worth sharing this video. And they probably truly did not like her. Erica Banks is essentially making this statement about aesthetics and how she decides on who can be out with her in certain settings, not based on who she's friends with, not based on who is, I don't know. Is there an argument to be made in the minds of women and people in general who think like this? Because I do not think this is a thing that only women think of. But that people that put a priority on aesthetics, are they also saying that aesthetics is how they decide how to have fun? Does that actually provide fun? Or is it just good pictures? I don't know. Because in my mind, you're not thinking about the community. You're not thinking about how you engage with people. You're simply thinking about how you can be validated by others and how you will look in pictures and video. That's it. Erica herself has had a very negative, whether it's her doing or 1501, and I honestly think a lot of the negativity surrounding her has been a byproduct of the handling of 1501 and then being more focused on trying to bring down Meg the Stallion than really big up a fledgling Black woman rapper that they have on their roster. She's had like a good song or two that's become slightly popular, but a lot more of the conversation about her has been one around 1501 and how she is the second female behind Meg the Stallion to be signed to the label, then her getting her body done. All right. This is Erica at the BET Awards. I actually think much of the conversation that first started when this video popped up on social media about her talking about the aesthetics that she requires for the people that she brings out in public when she goes to the club and parties, and she don't want nobody that's skinny. She don't want nobody that's fat. You know, the fat phobia, the anti-Blackness that's baked into these comments. I actually think a lot of the pushback against Erica was also anti-Black in itself. I also think it was fat phobic in itself to then challenge her by saying, well, look at you. Erica got her body done and was very, very vocal about getting her body done. And she's only 23 years old. Very, very young. I think Erica is fully a byproduct of the environment that she lives in, trying to make it as a dark-skinned Black woman in the hip-hop industry. I think she shared something to close friends that she thought, because of the way she has been handled, her handlers would understand, and it was essentially leaked. I think the people that are in Erica's life generally do not care about her. She does not have a group of people behind her that are really invested in her well-being and how she receives success. I think people are interested in profiting off of her, and people are interested in using her as a pawn against someone that they have a personal issue with, being Meg Thee Stallion. Erica is actually regurgitating what I hear on TikTok so very often in various forms. There's a particular sort of aesthetic. I haven't really discussed it much because the aesthetic of Black women is often heavily regulated. And so I feel very hesitant to critique, even though I see this thing happening with a particular aesthetic, to then say, well, that aesthetic is notorious for this one thing. To essentially to stereotype that aesthetic feels contradictory to the politics I hold around not participating in shaming Black women, which is why I haven't necessarily posted anything on TikTok really much about it or said anything about it on social media, because I realize the way that I present might make people more inclined just to believe me aesthetically, to agree with what I'm saying, because they want to participate in this sort of bashing of a certain sector of Black women. I think the aesthetic is the 30-inch, what we call a 30-inch bust down. So middle part, lace front, very nicely laid, the baby hairs that we often see on Erica Banks. You know, the acrylic nails, the makeup done like, essentially it's this aesthetic, right? The very creatively well done baby hairs. It's always slick hair. There's a particular it's a soft glam look. The lashes, and honestly, I myself, I don't dislike this aesthetic. You know, all the girls that hang out with Arrogant Tay, who does Nicki Minaj's hair, that sort of aesthetic. Like I sell hair. I used to sell hair. I like a nice wig. I like a well laid wig. I like, I have naturally long nails, so I can't put the acrylics on. But I love a good lash extension. I love a good soft glam look when I feel like it. But I do think that the girls who seek their validation through being able to fit in this aesthetic, not just from the facial aspect of it, but also the body type, right? This body type is very specific. You can only have fat in your tits and your ass. There's a hyperfixation on really flat stomachs, really snatched waistline. They're into specific types of fashion. I think the girls that seek validation through how they can fit in and buy into this aesthetic also tend to be very lonely women. Is it only this aesthetic that is also, because of the commodification, way capitalism functions, and the commodification of a beauty standard that is constantly being sold, that you need to buy these things? Because all these things I talk about, the bust down wigs, the lash extensions, the acrylic nails, the eyebrows, getting your body done, wearing certain fast fashion clothing, or even buying into particular luxury brands. These are all things that you have to buy. The makeup, the particular look you have to give. These are all things that you have to buy in order to access. And I think the girls that are so fixated in this often end up lonely. But then can we not also make the argument that social media overall, whenever you get on the internet and have to feed into a very specific aesthetic in order to feel good about yourself, that in general is making you lonely? That's why I'm like, do I really want to critique this one aesthetic? Are they the only ones doing it? Or does the TikTok algorithm just know that I like looking at them? And so that's what it puts on my For You page. And I'm being, I'm over consuming the trauma of this one group. And it's not necessarily that the 30-inch bust down BBL girls are the only ones that have been put into this sort of validation through their physical looks, through the politics of desirability. But what I was saying in connection to what Erica Banks specifically said is that sort of rhetoric pops up in a lot of various ways. When women are talking about not having any close friends and then justifying themselves as introverts who don't go outside, I don't think they realize that sometimes overly being an introvert might be doing them a big disservice. Even though we can pin this on a particular younger demographic of Black women who feed into a specific aesthetic, I also see this sort of rhetoric repopulate in like the late bloomer, focused on finding love content as well. And I think a lot of us feed into various type of aesthetics as validation. I 120% believe that Erica is wrong. I think she's young too. And I think hopefully somebody comes into her life that can educate her on why she's wrong. Because unfortunately, it's not even like you're wrong and you are specifically harming this other group of people. Yes, this rhetoric is harmful to various groups of people within the Black community. But I think in Erica's particular situation, she's going to end up harming herself the most. This puts her in a very vulnerable position. She is obviously going to experience some of the same anti-Blackness that she is perpetuating, and especially now that it's gone public, it is just going to make it a lot harder for her in the industry. I really hope that one day, I don't necessarily think I'm the messenger to spread this message, but maybe one day we will get to the point of the conversation when we can talk about also the sort of hollowness, the kind of mind-numbingness that comes with being overly fixated on aesthetics and not taking the time to explore the world beyond how good you look. I think it's really powerful to be a beautiful person versus a pretty person. To be a thoughtfully beautiful person who has engaged in knowledge and in the process of like acquiring knowledge. I want to say like the epistemological process of knowledge validation. You know, like that process of being able to engage in critical discourse, being able to, you know, have a thought outside of niggas and bitches and titties and ass. As a Black woman who consumes a lot of Black women media, I would love for more Black women to understand the bounty in that rather than just being fixated on aesthetics. But I think the reason why aesthetics are so easy because this messaging says that you can become desirable in a way that will provide you safety, provide financial security, even though it's like when you think about, okay, well, what safety? Oh, you get a man. What financial security? Oh, you get a man or you become an influencer or you launch a business. It will provide you the life you want because a man is paying for your trips. Basically, it provides you a man who then provides you with all these other things. We do know that it's mostly a fail. But I think it's easier for young women to buy into that than to say, hey, you know, engage in these challenging politics that really make you self-interrogate so that you can, you know, broaden your horizons and also build out the life that you actually want to live. That is a heavy task because you have to think about how much, if you are a person who has taken on that vein of thinking or, you know, expanding and growing and evolving as a person, that acknowledging that has been a heavy lift, that has been a lot of work, and getting a bevy of people to do it. I mean, society tells them that there's much easier ways to procure what they believe is generational wealth. And you'll probably, in trying to promote that message, get eaten up in the process, okay? Your entire like day-to-day gets caught up in, do I look good? And do I look good in this particular vein? And who's trendy? And like just following people that generally just look good and wealthy on the internet. And that's all you're really consuming. And then you get this idea that like friendships don't matter. You know, nothing's really thought-provoking in the realm that you live in. Maybe the shade room might provoke some thought occasionally, and that's treacherous. But then on the other side, you're not even building out friendships. You're not experiencing how to relate to people with different thoughts, different ways of life, with different idiosyncrasies. You're not learning, you know, what Toni Morrison says is a very complex adult act of kindness because you're not at all, you don't have any space in your life for interpersonal relationships. And at the first sign of it not fitting in nice and neatly into the life that you think you're supposed to be living at this moment, you cut a bitch off.